You're listening to the Future of Convenience podcast, featuring senior retail executives and experts in the global convenience and mobility industry. Welcome to the Future of Convenience podcast. I'm Carolyn Schnare, and today we're going to talk about a subject that has been all over our global industry news this past few weeks as we announced the smartest store in the world. We're going to not only meet the winner, but we'll talk about some of the outstanding findings we found and what is yet to come in the not-so-distant future for the industry.
Brand new AI just changed the game for retail. Plexer catches theft in real time, spots safety hazards before someone gets hurt, and predicts demand spikes, all from your existing cameras. No new hardware. This is the kind of AI that didn't exist before. Retailers using it are recovering and making thousands more every month. Go to plexer.ai, request a demo now.
Earlier this year, together with NACS and our knowledge partner Accenture, we launched the first ever Smartest Store in the World competition to find the most innovative stations in the world. We were blown away, receiving 21 entries from 12 countries, and all of the companies provided profiles with pictures, videos, and site info, which are still online at Global Convenience. We had a wonderful panel of judges who took painstaking time to review every entry, resulting in the top 12 list. And last week, we recognized the top 3 with Wumart in China winning the number 1 top spot. But before I bring Wumart onto the show, I want to introduce my first guest, who is also the competition knowledge partner, Accenture, who we have with us, Brian Gray, the managing director, global downstream energy lead, and global head of fuels and convenience retail. Hey, Brian, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing all right, Carol. How are you?
Doing fantastic. Well, thank you for joining me today and for your support of the competition. And you helped develop the criteria for this competition along with Dan Munford and the rest of the team, as well as judge the entries. So I want to first start the show by asking you to tell us a little bit about if the competition met your expectations and your impression of the overall entries, everything, how it all went. How do you think it went?
I think it went great. I think this was our first annual Smartest Store in the World competition, and I think it was a great success. And if I think about from the entries where we had 21 different companies from around the world submit their best examples of using intelligence in the stores, to actually how we were able to go and leverage different dimensions and judging criteria against those entries. And I think the judging criteria that we came up with actually did a pretty good job of separating out the entries from one another, from innovation and creativity, the value that they were actually able to achieve, how they leveraged partners in their ecosystem, the technology itself that they used. And then finally, did the solutions actually scale? I think that was one of the biggest things in this competition, is not just having science experiments and proof of concepts, but could you actually achieve scale with the technology solutions you're putting in place? So I was super pleased with how we got to the results that we did, and couldn't be more happy.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I watched every video, read through every entry, and I mean, it was just it's not only so cool to see where technology's taken us so far and will continue to grow, and I mean, is well beyond where my brain knows what to do with AI or anything else. But just watching, or seeing some of these companies that are very large, and even some that are like 1 and 2 store operators. I mean, remember one of the entries? I think he had 1 store. Remember that? That was so cool. Well, I can't wait for continued down the road as we hold this competition throughout the years. It'll be something when we look back, I'd say in 10 years, but at this point, like look back in 1 year and say like, wow, look where we were way back then, the way it evolves.
One thing Dan and I were talking about at one point, even last week when we were announcing the winner in Warsaw at the Convenience Summit Europe, was very much the fact that this competition was perfectly timed. And retailers are now starting to leverage intelligence and AI technology in a very big way. And I think we hit the timing right on the head. So I can't wait to see what happens next year when all the entries start to pour in, as we're starting to gain a lot of client interest from around the world.
Oh, for sure. Well, shall we bring on our guest, our winner? Our winner, I'm pleased to have with us today Troy Du, who is representing Wumart and is the global branding and marketing lead with DMALL, the technology behind Wumart's success. Welcome, Troy. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, hello, Kelly. Sorry, I'm still the night of Beijing, but I'm really happy to join the podcast. Yeah, happy to see each other.
Well, congratulations. And also, I want to bring on Marcus Spurrell, who is returning to our show. We did an episode a few months ago, which I will put in the show notes so y'all can listen. And Marcus is the CEO of DMALL. Thank you so much for joining us again, Marcus.
Thanks for inviting me, Carolyn. Very exciting. It's very exciting to have participated in the competition, let alone to actually win. So it's a great pleasure to see you again and to be here again today.
Very cool. Well, so Marcus, let me just start with you since I got you here. What did you think about the competitions? I know you probably looked at a lot of the entries. How'd you think it went?
Actually, I was just reflecting myself before we started exactly on what Brian said, actually, to be honest with you. And that is that the timing really, I think, was perfect for it. If you look at kind of what all of the conversation is at the moment, even if you're on the conference circuit like a lot of us are, you go to Shop Talk, you go to NRF, you see what the kind of agenda and the themes of the day are. They have changed markedly from last year to this year, right? Everything this year is really about AI. It's about agentic. It's about, how does AI help you to decision stuff, to execute stuff? What is the importance of the real-time data within your business if you're a retailer, and then how do you kind of we have lumpy data, we have lumpy kind of environments. So I think this was a really fantastic opportunity to kind of showcase how things really are moving. How retailers literally across the globe are starting to implement stuff. Everybody has their own take on it. Some people are throwing everything at the wall. Some people are really just kind of focused on some of the core things in retail that they're looking to accelerate, or stuff that will fit into their stack that they can somehow leverage to just bring more value or better customer service or more operational efficiency or whatever it might be. So it was fantastic. It was really fantastic to be a part of it. A lot of the participants are people that we know really well. DMALL, we are a technology vendor, so we know the guys at Fair Price really well. We know 7-Eleven globally really well, and some of the stuff those guys are doing is just absolutely amazing, and they are, deserved. We are, they're a deserved company in our company, that's for sure. And I think it's just been a fantastic competition, and it's been a learning experience for us as well, just to see what's going on out there.
Oh, for sure. I think that's one of the cool things about all these competitions, that you just really get to see. It's like a global store tour out there. You can see what's happening on all corners of the earth, literally. And speaking of which, Troy, I would love to, again, congratulate you. And I want to ask a little bit, why did you decide to enter your company in the competition? And what has been your feelings about winning? What was it like at your company? What are all your colleagues thinking?
Yeah, I would say first of all, it's really excited to be part of the competition. I mean, just like Marcus said, the whole competition we learn a lot. We see different retailers there doing different ways with technology to improve their business. So some of them maybe the customer experience automation, so the shelf edge intelligence. So I would say this is totally meaningful to the industry. So we're more than happy to win the competition. And you see the day when we check the video release in the Poland, we were super excited. We were sitting at the meeting room, so everyone just celebrate. I would say you see we have a preliminary discussion that we think that the reason that Wumart became the final winner, like just Marco said, because really now more and more people they are focusing on AI and agentic AI is everything, and within the fundamental of Wumart business really because I would say 3 points. First of all, the digitalization of AI is always around the business. It's all around the whole ecosystem from merchandising, supply chain, store ops, and customer services. I would say everywhere. And also, I would say we can really see that you see Walmart is really doing AI, pioneering AI in one of the most competitive retail market. I mean, the mainland China. We can this is a very good window, but we can also see that the massive competition in China really helps us to improve the AI because we just cannot make AI a demo or a POC. We must make it practice in real operations. And also I would say thanks to the founder of both Wumart and the DMALL is Dr. Zhang, that he really put the you see technology and retailer DNA in both of Wumart and DMALL business. And so speaking, I think this is a more general part, and when we see the technology or operation level, we can also see 3 points. First of all, I think for Umart, we don't just see AI as a tool to replace one specific functions. Basically, we redesign the whole workflow around AI, and we almost change everything. I'll give you an example, like the merchandising. In traditional way, merchandising was really we divide it into sourcing, assortment, pricing, and replenishment, and clearance. And actually, at the very beginning phase of the AI pilot project with Walmart, we do it also in separate ways. Like we have separate isolated AI replenishment, isolated AI clearance, dynamic pricing. But eventually, when we look back, we see that you can just raise a little bit the efficiency in 1 point, but if you're standing at the higher level, it's basically not as good as we expected. So you see now Walmart is using a merchandising agent to control the whole part of the business. So which means that we totally change the workflow. We do all the workflow around the AI. So I think this is a very important point, that we change all the business around AI. And I would say, secondly, is really about the organizational transformation. Honestly speaking, I can't say that the competitors they're doing it or not, but if you see that experience from Walmart, I think this is also a very important part, because we adjust all the job functions, doing the trainings and doing the whole team upgrade around AI, which means that we don't basically use AI as a tools. We use AI to helping the teams, or to upgrade the teams, to let them know that what kind of the better thing they can do in their daily works. And I will say another part we also want to mention that I will say AI is not perfect. So from the very first day Walmart tried the AI or AI agent, we know that there will be a lot of mistakes. So we build up a feedback loop, just to collect all the data, make the decisions, and also making the execution and feedback again, evolving and improving day to day. But also there are much more space about maybe some tiny mistakes at the very beginning phrase. So I would say, um, I would say, honestly speaking, on behalf of Walmart and DMALL, winning is definitely our great honor. Especially, we see excellent retailers. They are doing different innovation in the competition. So, um, in one word, I would say our winning is definitely an acknowledgement of the methodology that we have a long-term and AI first transformation in our daily business and daily operations. Yeah. And I think roughly this is my kind of feeling. And also, this is where we have discussion with our teammates, with our colleagues, and when we think this is of the very important thing we want to speak of. Yeah.
Well, Troy, thank you so much. I'm just so excited to hear your excitement. I saw the video when it was announced that around the conference table. It was just so cool to see your reaction. And Brian, I'm going to switch it over to you. What are your thoughts on DMALL, on Wumart, and the winners?
Well, I think Troy hit the nail on the head earlier. I mean, what stood out to me about Wumart wasn't one thing. It was really one of the best examples I've seen in a very long time of connected intelligence. Um, what stood out is Wumart and DMALL built the first AI agent powered, retail operating system, but at scale, where AI is now almost working as a digital employee that can now figure out how to sense and decide and actually take action across many different things in the retail environment, whether it's merchandising or supply chain, operations, engaging customers, etc. So it wasn't just a single feature or science experiment. It was this whole connected ecosystem that was amazing to see. And then the other thing that really stood out was the value that it was generated. I mean, you look at some of these numbers and it's just awe-inspiring. Sales up 258%, labor costs down 30%, shrinkage down 85%. And when you pull this all together, customer satisfaction that's up after this transformation as well. That's where you actually see the, we always talk about the agentic era. This is where it actually shows up in a big way in convenience retail. So that got me pretty excited about the Wumart entry and the story and how DMALL
Yeah,
was
for
a
sure.
big part of that.
So you were one of the judges, as I mentioned before, and I would be remiss if I didn't give credit to our other judges, who were Austin Lieb with Vontier, Tarang Sethia with VenHub, George Zhang with Nax, Kate Ankentil, Oliver Guy with Microsoft, Martin Bailey, Jim Keys, Christian Warning, and Gray Taylor at Connexus. So I just wanted to give a quick shout out to them and thank you for all their time. But there were also, let me also shout out our two runners up who were Fair Price Group in Singapore and Kavanagh's Belsize Park in the UK. And I think maybe you might have visited one of them. Brian, correct me if I'm wrong. But what were some of the innovations you noticed there? And whether it's all the entries, as you mentioned, but those two in particular.
Yeah, so both runners up actually pointed to where the industry is heading. And if you look at, let's just take one at a time. Fair Price Group in Singapore, they were able to layer Gen AI assistants, smart carts, vision AI, and even integrating with government data streams, right, to now bring it all into one integrated vision. And you look at the value that was generated, the smart carts alone cut something like 90% of the checkout time, or 90% checkout time was reduced. Baskets were increased by 3x. So really strong entry from Fair Price, and it was another example of the ecosystem of all these different technologies coming together to go drive value. Now, if you look at Kavanaugh's in London, they were able to go prove that innovation isn't just for the big players. So if you look at electronic shelf labels and AI vision running in an independent was very cool to see. So I think the two things that I would say, just as examples from these two entries, that they could go mainstream first. One is electronic shelf labels. We're seeing that across many of the different entries that came in. And how do you use the shelf labels paired with dynamic pricing, I think is going to be something that we'll see catch fire across this industry over the next 12 to 18 months. And then the second thing is, how do you go turn your cameras in your stores and take advantage of the existing infrastructure that's in place to now bring intelligence and real-time operational data to the picture? So AI vision and computer vision will start to be a pretty big piece of
For sure.
the puzzle in the future. So none of this is really science fiction anymore. This is
We'll bring
this
our
is
flying
real,
cars
and
to
it's
the
great to see
stores
it.
going forward. Marcus, you and I spoke, I don't remember, it was a couple months ago, I believe, and you and I talked about a lot of this agentic AI and its use, and here we are in practice with it. Do you have any thoughts on anything Brian said about the future of just all this innovation in the industry? Anything that you see like popping out that you think will just grow leaps and bounds within even the next, like, I don't know, 6 months, a year?
Yeah, I do think we'll see a lot more retailers. Brian was talking about the digital employee, and I mean, I guess the way I think about Wumart and DMALL is Wumart, like a decade ago, basically. We had this founder. He wanted to replace all of the systems that he had at Wumart, and he founded DMALL and kind of digitized the entire retail kind of value chain, right? So all of the tech is real time, and so Wumart in all their stores, 1,700 stores across China, are running their businesses in real time. But businesses are just that sensing component that Brian was talking about. That sensing part is kind of happening in real time, but it's just data that gets thrown up and historically is in dashboards and reports. And, that decisioning component and the execution component, they drop right back down to human speed. They're not running at real time at all, right? And so now that we see more and more broader application of digital technologies in the sensing systems themselves, this layering in of AI on top of it to do the decision making and do the execution, I think is something that we're going to see really rapid expansion of across all of the retail processes. I think there is still, as somebody who came out of retail, I know there's a lot of, in certain functions within retail, commercial, maybe in supply chain, a lot of nervousness about letting kind of AI make decisions about the forecast or the order replenishment or auto ordering or whatever it might be on any daily basis. But at a certain point in time, the competitive pressure around that is just going to change. And so I think we're really going to start to see, it's going to be really interesting to just see where that breaks first and kind of where that application starts to deliver value at scale, not only for an individual retailer, but for the industry. So yeah, I think it's going to be a wild year ahead. And I'm really looking forward to what the competition looks like next year.
That's for sure. So Troy, we would love to come visit you in Wumart later this fall, Dan, and would love to bring a camera crew. Would it be okay with you if we just came to visit and you could host us there?
Yeah, definitely. We just can't wait to see you in China and also show you a little bit the expertise of Wumart, and we were definitely looking forward to see you there.
Well, thank you very much. We'll be doing that. So, you guys, it's been a pleasure meeting you. Congratulations once again, Marcus and Troy, and to the entire team. I know it's going to continue to be more work as you develop, and I can't wait to see your entry next year because it's going to be even leaps and bounds beyond what we're at now. And Brian, thank you for your support, for your help, for your judging, for your guidance, for being on the show with us today. And I really wish you guys the best of luck as you go forward with your innovations over there.
Thanks, Carolyn. Thanks for having us on.
Well, thanks again for joining me, and a huge thank you to the competition sponsors Invenco, Plexer AI, VenHub, and listeners. I invite you to visit our website at globalconvenience.com to see every entry and also revisit the episode from earlier this year with Marcus and a lot more detail on DMALL. I will put both links in the show notes, and most of all, thank you for listening to The Future of Convenience. Thank you for listening to the Future of Convenience podcast, produced by Dan Munford, Jenna Ferguson, and Lorraine Evans. It is produced and edited and mixed by Carolyn Schnare, and music is provided by Jukebox Music. Learn more at globalconvenience.com.